Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane has ordered government to provide security to two prominent KwaZulu-Natal activists and whistleblowers whose lives are said to be in danger. You'll remember Thabiso Zulu and Les Stuta spoke at the ANC Youth League's former Secretary General Sindiso Makaka's funeral last year, where they revealed details of alleged corruption in the Umzimkhulu area. Since then, they've apparently been living in fear, and until now, police haven't provided them with protection. Joining us now live from our Pretoria studios is Public Protector spokesperson Opa Sekhalwe. And so, Opa, very rarely, I think, and I'm not talking from a position of having statistics, but I imagine that very rarely does the Office of the Public Protector find itself going from intervening to sort of unblock what appears to be a failure in service delivery and ending up with a full-on investigation, actually, that comes out with a report and remedial actions.
Yes, that is correct, Tulas. When the Public Protector issues a report with remedial action, we expect that such remedial action should be implemented because before she arrives at decisions, she carefully considers the merits of the case and so forth. But in instances where there's no implementation or there's disagreement with the content of the report, we expect people to take the matter on review. But even then, as we have learned from the Constitutional Court judgment on the Nkandla matter, the mere intention of taking us on review does not halt implementation processes unless, of course, we are interdicted.
Right, so let's get to the heart of the current issues then. Having investigated whether or not there was an undue delay in sort of reaching a decision on whether or not to provide Thabiso Zulu and Les Stuta with security at the state's expense, you then went on to come out with specific remedial actions, which included that you wanted the security assessment done by the police to be shared with your office, I think, within 3 days, and also for a decision to be made and these two gentlemen to be provided with security within 7 days or so, and for the Minister of Police, Begicele, to be reprimanded by the President. Has any of this happened as we speak now, Opa Sekhalwe?
So the report was issued last Friday, and to date there hasn't been any implementation. In fact, we have received correspondence from the Minister's office indicating that he disagreed with the remedial action and the findings, and that he intended to take the matter on review. So there hasn't been any implementation to date. But as I said moments ago, we expect the Minister to implement, because as things stand, there is no court judgment setting aside the remedial action of the Public Protector. And if the Minister still disagrees with that view, he should then go to court to interdict the implementation of that particular report. Absent an interdict or a decision of the court setting aside the remedial action, we expect nothing but full implementation.
All right, Opa, this is massive. This is actually big, as you and I are having this conversation, and I think we should go through it step by step. You wanted that security assessment that was done by the SAPS in December last year to be shared with your office. Has that been shared with you, just as we go through it step by step? Do you have that security assessment?
No, we do not have this, the report of that security assessment. So the Public Protector had requested both the South African Police Service and the State Security Agency to conduct those security threats assessment. Only the State Security Agency complied, and the SAPS has never complied, and we have had a number of interactions with the Ministry of Police through the Chief of Staff in the Office of the Minister to try to establish why there hasn't been movement in that regard, and also to try to secure a meeting with the Minister, all to no avail. And hence the Public Protector then decided to proceed and issue a report. In fact, even before issuing a report, the Public Protector issued what we call a Section 7(9) notice, which is a notice that she issued in terms of Section 7(9) of the Public Protector Act against parties,
right,
or to parties against whom she intends making adverse findings. Even that one was not responded to by the Minister's office. Hence, she decided to issue a report, knowing that the remedial action will be binding.
So that's the one thing. The second thing, has the President, to the best of your knowledge, has President Ramaphosa reprimanded the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele, for the way this matter was handled?
I think, to the best of our knowledge, there hasn't been any action on that part yet, because the President, I would imagine, has only just received the report, and
right.
We are still waiting to hear from his office.
Very quickly, yes. Then, Opa, then the last one is these two gentlemen whose lives have been reported extensively to be at risk, as to the best of your knowledge and despite your recommendations, still don't have protection.
They still don't have protection, and that's the crux of our problem here, Tulas, because you will agree with me that whistleblowers are the lifeblood of the fight against corruption, and they risk it all, you know, to do good. And then it only can surprise you that they haven't been afforded the protection they deserve in this instance, because they risk a lot when they decide, you know, to speak out about all of these things. So we expected that the Ministry of Police would jump and act against time to, you know, to secure this particular.
So as things stand,
we are very disappointed that.
So as things stand, then, Opa Sekgalwe, in 2018. After that historic judgment of the Constitutional Court under former President Jacob Zuma's administration, in the Ramaphosa administration, we're back to the Nkandla situation again, aren't we?
Well, time will tell. As I said, the minister has indicated that he intends taking the report on review. So he's not rejecting it and not doing anything about it. He wants to take it on review, but we are saying he should implement, because as we speak now, there is no court judgment setting aside the remedial action of the public protector, and those two whistleblowers are still displaced. They have had to move out of their homes, fleeing from these threats of death or the threats on their lives. So something really needs to be done, and it must happen urgently.
All right, Opa Sekgalwe, thank you so much for talking to us this Friday afternoon. So a concerning situation that is coming out of there from the Office of the Public Protector, maintaining that despite making binding findings and remedial actions, so far no action in that particular case. Certainly something that's worth following up on. Well,